before I go from that passage, because I thought it's very important. Do you know what made people like us to suffer so much for many years? I suffered many years. I suffered in the hand of preachers who particularly thought I was an old prophet, old-fashioned, somebody that you should not listen to. And what was my offense? What did I do? One day I started and said, God, what is wrong with me? I don't know whether you have ever come to a position where you are sitting and say, why? Why now? What have I done? And the Lord looked at me and said, because of what you are saying, men don't want to hear it. And they told me, even they will gather, they will call me aside. Bro Gbile, if you stop emphasizing this death thing, don't you have any other thing to preach? Say something that will make everybody happy. But I kept remembering that God did not ask me to make people happy. He sent me to make men holy. For without holiness, no man shall see the Lord. And what will not make you see the Lord is the flesh. And the only instrument that deals with the flesh is the cross. If I stop preaching the cross, I lose my relevance. And people told me, please hear me. They said, as long as you are preaching this, your something, you cannot make it. But you don't know why it didn't affect me. Can I tell you? I died to making it. I already died to making it. I'm not living to make it. There's nothing I want to make. I only want to make heaven. May God help you to understand. There's nothing I'm longing to become. So you cannot say, Bro Gbile, if you continue to preach this, you will not become something. I don't want to become something. I died to becoming something. If you think I have become something, that is not what I plan to become. Those something you are seeing around me, they are only following. They are not the thing I'm pursuing. What I'm pursuing is Him and Him crucified. But I want to tell you, I thought you can silence a man that preaches the cross. But I discovered that the more I preach Christ and Him crucified, the more I could not be ignored. The more you cannot sleep without giving consideration to what I've said. I had gone somewhere, oh my God, I went to South Africa. This should be 1997. In a continental meeting, all of African evangelicals. And they asked me to bring an exposition on Galatians. Haba. And as I began from chapter 1, these are heavy men, high theologians, and all of them from all over Africa. At first, I was looking at their face. I said, these are all having PhDs in theology, doctor of divinity, Because when they were introducing themselves, it was intimidating. When they were to introduce me, they say, what do you say about yourself? I say, I'm just Brother Gbile. They say, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? I say, I'm Brother Gbile. Now you will not understand. As I was coming out to preach, and I carried my Bible bag in those days, I spread my Bible on the something. They were wondering, what's the meaning of this? And some women, sisters that came from Malawi for that meeting, they look at one another. Say, why did we waste money to travel all the way to South Africa to listen to this kind of man? And they look at one another and said, let's go shopping. Then another one persuaded the other and said, at least we have come. Let's hear his foolishness so that we will know at least he said something foolish. It was later on they came confessing to me with tears. When the word of God came, and what was I preaching? I am crucified with Christ. They couldn't go again. They wept. They came to the altars. One woman from US, very tall, white lady, he walked up to me. Young man, you have scattered and shattered my life. I don't like you. But I don't know what to do now. I cannot apologize for the truth. And as she was walking away, I don't like you. You reminded me of all the things that God told me to do that I did not want to do. How could I come all the way from America to come and confront the same thing that I was running away from? I don't like you. I died to people liking me. I'm not looking for you to like me. The only person that must like me is Jesus. If you don't like me, what does that mean? What do you have to affect me even if you don't like me? If you don't like me, no problem. If you like me, no problem. Nothing added to my life. I died. I died to that. I died to your comments. So as the woman was going, I was still standing speechless. Then she turned back, shedding tears. He said, but I cannot ignore what you have said. I can't go away from this thing. Will you like to pray for me? By the time I came to the end of that series of exposition, the entire conference have changed their discussion. I realized that it's because people like us kept quiet. That's why foolishness is going everywhere. I discovered that even though we appear like remnants, what we carry supersedes all the noise. If you will not commit yourself to preaching Christ and Him crucified, you have no business in what God is about to do. Some people think that if we preach the cross, there will be no healing. They think if we preach the cross, there will be no miracles. They think if we preach Christ and Him crucified, there will be no prosperity of life. I want to tell you that's a blackmail. The most authentic miracle you will see in your ministry is the one that emanates from His power of resurrection.